Welcome. Hi, everyone. I am honored today to be here with Grant with Fine Print. Thank you so much, Grant, for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me on today.
Perfect. So today we are going to jump right in and talk about the wonderful fine print. If you guys have not, anyone that's listening, if you have not gone to see fine print, if you haven't eaten there, I highly recommend it. It's amazing food, great atmosphere, and it's very unique. So definitely check them out. So, Grant, tell me, when did Fine Print open? And tell me the story of Fine Print.
That's a good question, and it's a question that actually has a two-part answer to it. We originally opened in October of 2022, and just got rolling. And as most restaurants, we were over budget, over time, trying to get our place open. We took some significant measures to get our word out there because it's tough in the restaurant industry these days with so many different social media environments and so many media environments that everybody's getting their news in such a fragmented way. 50 years ago, we could have run an ad in the Calgary Herald and half the town would have known we were around. Today, that's not the case. So you've got to use a lot of different channels and get super creative about how you get your word out, especially that we opened up, post COVID. So everybody was just starting to get back, into call it a normal work routine. So we opened in October quietly in 2022 with the intention of training our staff softly and getting ramped up so that once we started getting the volumes that we expected, that we wouldn't drop any balls due to being too busy or not having our systems and processes in order. And just as we were starting to get our legs under us and we had spent all our marketing dollars, somebody in our alley decided to light a dumpster fire, which caught our restaurant on fire 5 days before our Super Bowl, which was February in 2023. So just as we got rolling, we got set right back to zero. And it took us, give or take, we reopened in April of 2023. So it took us roughly 3 months to get back, up and operational by then. So we were really kind of behind the eight ball. Yeah, that was the start, but we've steadily grown ever since, and the team has gelled, and yeah, so we've now been officially open, call it, for a couple years without interruption, which has been it's actually 2 years very recently. So we're pretty happy.
Congratulations for your 2-year anniversary. And I'm really sorry to hear that there was that incident that happened. That's obviously not ideal. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough on the crew. It was tough on the staff. It's hard to keep staff around when you're shut for 3 months, especially, servers and hosts and kitchen staff that rely on the hourly wage. We lost a lot, so we had to kind of restart from scratch when we reopened in April. So it was some tough sledding, but they say everything happens for a reason. So we got a great team afterwards and gelled, and now we've been heading in the right direction ever since.
I also believe everything happens for a reason. So it's a
Yeah.
very positive outlook on a really unfortunate situation. Thank you so much for sharing your story. What made you want to open up Fine Print?
That's a good question. We had opened. I had operated numerous franchised restaurants for many years. I've got multiple businesses, but always been passionate about the restaurant industry. And some of my clients through my real estate work have been in the restaurant industry. So I kind of got pulled in and said, Grant, would you like to participate in some of these various restaurants that we're in? And I wound up doing so. So I had many franchise restaurants, and along with a couple partners, we had always dreamt about our own concept for the longest time. Something that was hospitality driven, something that was customer centric, something that we could be proud of, that took advantage of Calgary ownership, Calgary development, Calgary a Calgary concept, so to speak. So COVID isolated us a fair bit. So that's when we started thinking a little bit more seriously about opening up our own concept. During COVID, it seemed like everybody was isolated from one another, and there wasn't as many great reasons to get out and celebrate. One of the things we wanted to do was create an environment to celebrate our humanity and make people feel special. We didn't think that there was as many opportunities as there probably could be out there for venues that would really dig down into great hospitality and really trying to make each and every guest feel really special about their visit to us, which sometimes is hard to do in a chain or franchised concept. So opening up our own concept, we thought, okay, this would be a great time to do that. So right during the heart of COVID, we decided to start formulating an idea about doing our own. And we've always been big fans of French cuisine. We're all call it foodies in many ways, and we have been for a long period of time. So we started looking for various spaces and came across one on Stephen Avenue Mall that was the former home of a very iconic restaurant in Calgary called Divino. And that was there for many, many, many years. And it was actually the original home of the Calgary Herald. The building was built in 1883, finished in 1887. And we looked at it and we said, wow, where else can we get be able to occupy or lease a building for a concept that is a very renowned historical building, brick and sandstone, built many, many years ago, one of the oldest buildings in town, and had that historic charm. So it was an iconic building and it had that iconic charm. And that's when we kind of bridged the gap between the concept in the building. And we had our own ideas for the concept at the time, but having the place as the original home or one of the original homes of the Calgary Herald, we thought, well, let's dig into that vein, so to speak, and that thread of print and newspaper. And so we wanted to mesh the great hospitality, taking care of the details, taking care of the little things that enable one to feel special after a great dining environment. And so one of our taglines became every day offers a reason to celebrate. And so when we opened up, or when we meshed the concept with the building, we sat down with some great branding people at Sajak and Farkey, which is a great marketing firm here in town, and a branding firm. And we came up with the concept of fine print, many layers on that. And so our menu reads like a book. We collaborated with the Calgary Herald, which they were incredibly generous in giving us some original newspapers and some materials that we could adorn the building with. Gave us information on the history and the color and the culture of the building. And so we really looked to mesh the brand with the building so that there was a great contiguous branding opportunity for that. As mentioned, our menu reads like a book. It has a preface, it has a foreword, a main story, an epilogue. So everything you'll see in the restaurant has these little ties to the newspaper industry, the reading industry, and around the historical nature of the building.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And that, yeah, that just kind of gave me a aha moment. I'm like, yeah, because I was wondering what inspired the name. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense now that you explain that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, we have historical typewriters and very old items in the building that are part of the design component to what we've launched. So
Yeah, I've been on your website and you have an interactive typewriter, which is really cool.
that actually leads to another website for our private lounge downstairs, which a lot of people don't know about. When we opened up, there was a beautiful basement downstairs, but unfortunately, it was drywalled and call it modernized. And when we came across the building, we said, "What a great what a great opportunity to do something cool down here. So we ripped out all the drywall and all the, call it, semi-modern elements, refinished the brick and sandstone and the original floors and things of that nature downstairs, and turned it into a private owner's lounge. And it's become very, very popular. We don't offer it to the public. It's by invite only for our special guests, and that's a trail into, we can talk about that, but it's turned into a very neat scenario downstairs for us. And we call our private lounge heavily redacted. So if fine print is the joyous, light hospitality, fine or heavily redacted is the darker, moody, mysterious place that we extend invites to our regulars and our best guests that patronize us regularly, where you wouldn't be surprised where our general manager or one of the owners will come up and will tap somebody on the shoulder and say, thank you so much for joining us and being such a great guest of ours. We'd like to invite you down for a cocktail down in the owner's lounge. And that offers something that's very different from most restaurants, because you can go almost anywhere and get a great meal, and there's so many great restaurants in town that offer great cuisine and great environments and great hospitality. We wanted to do one step extra, so that after, sometimes when you have a great meal, you want that one extra drink, or you're not ready to go home yet. It's 9 o'clock after your meal, and I don't really want to go to a nightclub, and I might not want to go out to some big endeavor, but wouldn't it be cool to go to a neat little lounge and have a drink? And that offers our guests and our special guests a really neat opportunity to do something special after they dine with us. So
So you kind of answered what makes you stand out from other restaurants. Is there anything else you wanted to add that we
uh,
haven't talked about?
yeah, I mean, we really like to think outside of the box. So, aside from being locally owned and operated, and there's not that many locally owned and operated restaurants left. Most of the big chains and lots of the, call it, big branded concepts that you go out there, they might have different names, but they're all owned by the same groups, and those same groups typically aren't Calgary based. So we're one of the few that are businesses that are proudly Calgarian owned and operated. And we've also worked really hard to work with local suppliers, local vendors, local farmers. That's a big part of our menu. We're very proud of our commitment to the community. All our artwork in the restaurant is original artwork by a great local artist named Corey Nespor. He's actually getting national recognition now, so we're super happy about that. His largest installation is actually in our private dining room, and we call it the Hemingway. And again, after a thread to call it the historical nature of the building, some great art throughout the building is by Corey. We do lots of neat classes. So we'll do a chef's table and a chef's experience at the Roost, which we have an open kitchen. So our chef will, and it goes very quickly. It usually sells out within a few minutes of us launching it. We only do one or two a quarter, usually maybe one a month. But our Roost will sit up to 6 people, or parties of 6, and the chef will do a fixed price meal with you, and make it very interactive and special, which that's a neat thing that we do. We offer master classes at our New York style bar. We've got a very long, narrow space. We've got a very long bar, something that you might see in New York. And so we offer master classes where our beverage manager and our great bartenders will show you how to mix drinks. And it's a great team building exercise for businesses where, for a reasonable price, you can come in and get an appetizer and learn how to make a martini, or learn how to make a Negroni or a Manhattan, or any one of the drinks out there from professional bartenders, and sample and taste. So it's a neat thing that we also offer. So we try to layer in a lot of neat things. Probably the most unique thing that we offer is something called Taste Lab. And that's where we let our chefs go absolutely wild. And that's only done by invitation, and that's down in heavily redacted. So you need to be invited by that or be one of our regular guests. That our last two taste labs, we have one in March and one in April. Both sold out within 10 minutes of launching it on the website, which we were very pleased for. And I think the reason people like it is you get to go down in the owner's lounge, and our chefs just offer a long selection of unique tastes and bites and nibbles on things that you may or may not see on the future menu, things that they're concocting in their culinary minds that they want to test out. So you actually wind up going down, have a couple drinks, and you're a guinea pig for award-winning chefs down there. So we're super pleased about the response to that, and that's become very, very popular. We might actually open up some more just due to the popularity of it. It's a special reward for people who dine with us a lot and our great customers.
I love that. And it also is a reward to the chefs themselves because they're not making the same dishes all the time, and they're able to use their creative brain and just come up with some amazing bites and
Yeah.
concoctions. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, we like encouraging we've got executive chef our executive chef Francis Martinez. He's been great. A very creative guy, and but also balanced. I've never seen him throw a pot at somebody in the kitchen, or you see the TV shows where the chefs can be pretty edgy and pretty mean. He's a great guy, a good human, and an amazingly talented chef. So we're super proud of what he does, and as a reward, we like to give him as much creativity as possible. Our challenge is that a lot of our guests absolutely love our staple meals. We've got a sable fish dish that everybody loves, and a gnocchi dish, and a bunch of others. And Francis is always wanting to come up with new stuff. So the Taste Lab is a great environment for him and the guys to and our team in the kitchen to really get creative and do whatever the heck they want, which is fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the fish. I've been to your restaurant and it is so good. So if no
Oh,
one has tried it, please go there and try it. You will not regret it, that's for
oh,
sure.
thanks so much. Very kind. I'm sure he'll be happy with the endorsement, so to speak.
Yes. Quickly, what is your capacity for ceremonies or plated dinner?
Well, it's a super cool venue. We can, along with Town Hospitality, who has the space upstairs called the Pioneer, we collaborate with them on occasion to do buyouts for the entire building. So if you're have and it's such a neat venue for weddings and big parties. So, as an example, a few weeks ago, we held an annual party, of basically a Christmas party. They always do it, call it in the late winter, like January, February, where they rent all three floors. So they have a dance floor and a great venue upstairs. They have the dining in the restaurant, and then they have the executives and the people get in downstairs to heavily redacted for a really unique occasion. And so it fulfills a lot of buckets. We can fit 250 to 300 people in the whole building. We seat 80 to 90 in fine print. Uh, Generally, I think my chef and my GM will kill me if I say we can handle 90 downstairs easily. We usually will cap out at a lower number because they want to be able to deliver the quality of service, and we do have a tight kitchen, and it's a charming, cozy restaurant. It's not designed to be a big venue. It's designed to be very intimate, which I know I had my wedding at a French restaurant in Washington in the United States that overlooked the water, and it was such a romantic thing to be able to rent out a French restaurant, especially a historic one, and it really is a neat, intimate environment that you can't get many other places, especially with the brick and sandstone and the ambiance that we can create in there. So yeah,
Amazing.
and then we're also, we have had groups come in, and we don't rent out heavily redacted, and we don't market it in any way, shape, or form. It's quite clandestine. Again, you have to apply to get in, but people who get through to us, we have rented it out on occasion, and that's such a cool facility for, parties of 30 to 45 people who want to keep it really cool and really mysterious and really neat, because the average bear doesn't get into to see it. And it's so we've got, I guess, to answer your question, parties from 40 to 250 work really well. And because we've got those three different separate environments, we can really customize and curate something neat, and neat, intimate, and romantic. But also, we can get pretty large too at the same time.
Thank you. And what's your books looking like for 2025, 2026? Do you still have openings for couples if they wanted to use your venue?
Yes, absolutely. The interesting thing is our venue, our busy season is during the fall, winter, and early spring. So our sales and our revenues go up dramatically when all the office workers come back to town in September. So the downtown core, we're a great venue for business accounts. Business clients love taking, or business people love taking their clients there. It's a great romantic restaurant for couples, and we also cater to the tourism industry because the Calgary Tower is a block away, the convention center is a block away. There's lots of active draws, including the theater and things of that nature. So those venues tend to get busy during the fall and spring, as do we, because a lot of their guests and customers will frequent our place because they're in the community at the same time. So actually, our summers, which is a popular time for weddings, August and September, we do have a fair bit of availability, which is nice because that doesn't interrupt our, call it, standardized parties in business when we go into the heavy season of October, November, and December, which it works out quite well. So yeah, we do have some capacity, and I'd have to check with Larissa, who's our events director. But I know we're starting to getting some bookings because people like they like the historical nature of the building, the romance. There's not many buildings in town where you can get romance, where you can get an award-winning chef, where you can get a lot of the things that we have to offer. So it's kind of fun.
Beautiful. And how can a couple get a hold of you to look at the venue to book?
Set up. We've got a few different avenues. So it's the easiest thing is to email us through events@fineprintyyc.com. That's where you'll get Larissa. You can get info@fineprintyyc.com. That's our general information site. You can call us, our general manager, Martin Carrion, our wonderful general manager. He can be reached through the main line at 403-475-5655. That's our main number. And so there's a few different avenues, and you can just go through our website as well. And our website provides many direct links to our menu, to our awards, to our musings and things that we're doing. So it's a great kind of one-stop shopping to get a bit more information. And then Larissa has an events package that we can send out. We also cater to micro weddings, which it seems to be a popular thing now where, sometimes people want to keep it small for a variety of different reasons, and they want to invite 30 to 50 to 70 people. We're an absolute perfect venue for micro weddings, and we've actually developed a bit of a structure to help accommodate that type of event.
Yes, I work a lot with micro weddings as well, and it's like just the perfect little number because it's intimate. You
It's
have
so
enough
much better
time as
that
a
way.
couple. Yeah, you have enough time as a couple to say hi and thank you to everybody,
Yeah,
and you don't feel too overwhelmed.
I
Is
agree.
there anything else you wanted to quickly talk about, Grant, before we end our session?
No, I think that kind of sums it up. Look forward to having you down again. You've mentioned the sable fish. We did keep a couple. We did keep one staple from Divino. Everybody loved their green beans, their tempura green beans. So as an homage to Divino, if anybody out there misses it, we do offer the classic tempura green beans, which everybody seems to love. We've also won a few awards for our bison tartare, which is a great dish, and encourage anyone to come and see that. And we also have something that's super unique in Calgary, which is a Josper oven. It's a wood-fired smoke oven that is pretty rare, but it provides a very special it's a very special cooking instrument that our chefs know how to work and work some magic with it that not the average restaurant or not the average bear has access to it. So look forward to having you in again, Christy, and thanks for having me on the show today.
Yes, I love that. I can't wait to come by and try some new dishes and try some new fancy drinks and yeah, just have a great time in the wonderful, beautiful atmosphere. So thank you so much, Grant, for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was great spending some time with you today.
You as well. Thank you.